Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back to our BirthFit podcast. Whew, it's been a while. It's been, let's see, uh, at least over 13 months, maybe 15. And I am so happy to be back and connecting with this community, this collective, this awesome group of collaborative minds and hearts. Phew! So, lots of things have changed, evolved. Chapters have closed, doors have opened, locations have been updated, and yeah, even the name of this podcast has evolved. So, I want to let you in on the name change or the name upgrade, as I've been calling it the collective B. And that is mainly for some of the reasons that I have in bringing this podcast back. So, shall we get into it? Shall we get into it? Yes, we will. But first, for those of you new here, I have no idea what the hell BirthFit is, who the hell I am, or why you even pressed play to listen to this podcast. I'll give you some backstories and yeah, backstories, updates, all of that. And then we'll get into goals for the future. So, BirthFit. BirthFit found me. This is my calling. Yeah, it's been a roller coaster of a ride, and I would not change a bit of it. I have loved every single minute of BirthFit. There's been so much learning for myself, like personally, relationship wise, open heart, loving, boundaries, money, lawyer, legal, all the like learning, like what it means to be a business owner, what it means to be a business owner in relationship, to have a romantic relationship and friendships and being there for your friends, and not working ungodly hours. um, yeah, family for sure. So it's been a wild ride, and I have really, really loved how BirthFit came into my life and how it's evolved throughout the years. And I know I would not be the woman I am today without this BirthFit business side by side with me. It's like almost holding me accountable, or having holding held me accountable to grow up and to be a woman, a queen in training, as we used to say, and to just really take responsibility and show up as my true authentic self, not only for those that are close to me and around me, but for myself and the legacy I want to leave, and the people I want to impact and imprint, and the experiences I want to share. So, even more intentional this Capricorn got, if you could imagine that. So, yeah, BirthFit started in 2013. It was a blog, and I was sharing my experiences from the hats that I wore in life. So, I am a chiropractor. At that time, I was a very new chiropractor. I had gotten my doctorate in chiropractic out in Los Angeles, California, and I ended up taking a job out in LA and staying. I did not come back to Texas like many thought I would, or, if you were making smart financial decisions, like I probably should have. So, yeah, I stayed in Los Angeles, and I mean, it was awesome. I had so like a variety of experiences that I could have only gotten while living in Los Angeles. I worked with professional athletes. I worked on movie sets. I worked on TV sets. I worked in the stunt industry. I worked, getting people ready for the biggest games and performances of their lives, and retaking take after take on a movie set. So I learned recovery and I learned how resilient the body is. And then I found birth. I found birth by, one of my patients at the time trusting me. And yeah, I did not know anything about birth. Birth found me, actually. um, so yeah, I started taking all the courses I could that had the word birth, pregnancy, postpartum in it. And that's how I began learning. And after as that progressed, it was it was just something that like lit a fire inside of me, and I just wanted to know more. I had to know more, and I felt such a gap at the intersection of, let's say, where birth, which is part of all of us, like birth affects every single one of us, you watching, like all of you, um, where birth meets fitness, lifestyle, wellness, movement, and nutrition and nourishment. Now, don't get me wrong, like, I'm not saying it wasn't happening at all. It just wasn't happening, still is not happening, I would say, majority of the United States. I started looking at different studies based on different cultures around the world. I started reading things outside of what mainstream media, mainstream marketing, mainstream institutions were putting in our face. And I was realizing there's a whole nother beautiful depth of women supporting women, birth, generational healing, nourishment, wisdom, like innate intelligence, wisdom passed on from generation to generation through women. And so, yeah, I was like, okay, let's get into this. So, BirthFit was born, blogs, and that was the beginning. At the same time, I was helping to open Deuce Gym in Venice, California. And at Deuce Gym, excuse me, was where I had my first postpartum series. And, I was basing that on my experience when I blew out my knee and I had knee surgery. I had a timeline. I knew exactly what I was doing. 3 hours after surgery, 3 weeks, 3 months, a year. And yet in the United States, we give women 6 weeks. Majority of the birth happens in the hospital. So, majority of the women are receiving the standard of care where they have one follow-up visit, if they're lucky, in person at the 6-week mark. And then they're basically cleared for sex and exercise with no investigation of what's going on with the pelvic floor, no investigation of what's going on with mental, emotional, social wellness, none of that, you know. So, BirthFit Postpartum Series was born at in Venice, California, and then probably about 2 years later, I hosted the first BirthFit Coach Seminar at Deuce Gym in Venice, California. This was 3 days long, and we sold out at I believe it was 40 people, and like we packed people in there, and probably more than a fire like fire hazard, um, but it was awesome and unforgettable, and I remember feeling just the vibes, the energy, the love. As I think it was day 2 or day 3, I was leading a yoga movement, body weight, BirthFit basic style flow session in the yard of Deuce, where people were all the way outside, obviously, because the inside of Deuce is not that small. And then people were inside, like just covered. BirthFit people covered Deuce. Um, so that was rad. Yeah. So BirthFit has evolved since then. Like we used to have some seminars, coaches, professionals, And we were in the process of updating our branding and basically redoing a lot of the structure of BirthFit. And then that was like 2019, 2020. Then everything changed March 2020. And so that's when we really like, instead of like a slow burn, we just went full throttle, rebranding, restructuring, and we basically put 98% of BirthFit online, and we're still in that process of getting some stuff online. So all of our training programs, we have women from all over the world that do our B community, which is our general strength and conditioning monthly programming. And it's for women in all seasons and cycles of your life. So it's everything in and around pregnancy and postpartum, since we have, excuse me, pregnancy specific programs and postpartum specific programs. We really, really pride ourselves, toot our own horn, that we deliver general strength and conditioning programs that will enhance the connection, cultivate a connection, like deepen a connection within a physical body, and like boost your awareness. I like to say like our programs make you feel more at home and alive in your body. So that's rad, right? um and there's definitely a rhyme to our reason, our method to our madness. We believe very much in the polyvagal theory that the nervous system developed based on this hierarchy. And each of our days are set with a template based on the polyvagal theory. We start with a mind body connection. Then we migrate, change, shift, get into the sympathetics with strength and conditioning. Then we down regulate, allowing just our whole nervous system to calm down after a day of training. And yes, they're going to look very different, whether you're in B community or, third trimester or, 8 weeks postpartum. But all of our days have that sort of template. And I hope to get into the polyvagal theory more as more podcasts come out. Mm. Okay, so you can find all of our programs online, website birthfit.com. Everything's pretty much color coordinated now. So we have like B community is this like greenish color. Pregnancy, prenatal is a maroonish color. Postpartum programs, products are a little bit more orange. Preconception is a rose color. If you're diving into the directory or resources, that's more of a navy color. And education, if you're inside of our education, that's a yellow color, I believe. Talking makes my mouth dry. All right, so that's BirthFit. Behind the scenes, obviously, me. I still very much run the operations, write the blogs, um, help out with social media. Uh, I'm very, very much still involved with BirthFit, but we do have an awesome team. We have Coach Leah Bartow that runs our online programs. We have Kat Haggerty, and she got married last year, and her new last name is blanking on me. I'm sorry, Kat. But she is basically admin queen, and she's the one who you get if you email and you're like, Kat, I need to change my start date, or I have no idea about this. I'm a leader. Help me make sure I've got, whatever going on. Kat's that person. Kat also has a support person, Ruth, and Ruth is very much behind the scenes, but she makes sure our newsletter gets sent out. So she's like so on top of that. Thank you, Ruth. But yeah, Kat and Ruth work together as far as like admin and operations go. And then we have Hannah King. And Hannah is a lot of the photography, videography that you see, reels that are on social media, she's made those. And side note about reels, it's really hard. I don't think if you know each, like all four of us, then you know that you will not catch any of us four doing dancing reels. So we made a conscious effort, and yes, it's probably not gaining as many social media followers as reels do, but we do like we're still increasing, maybe not at exponential growth like some people doing the anyways or the because Instagram promotes that, but we've made a conscious effort to make our reels informative and connecting, like connecting relatable. So hopefully any and all of the reels that you see through BirthFit on Instagram will like leave you with at least one pearl of knowledge for the day. Um, yeah. So that is our awesome team. Hannah, I would also say, is like probably the most creative of each one of us. I can get creative and I start the wheels start going, but then I have to go to Hannah and be like and talk it through. So I think that's really cool that we each like all have our different strengths and weaknesses. Um, Leah's very much like that utility player, that catch all. Um, she's also very disciplined and gets shit done. Kat will get shit done for sure, like not afraid to check some emails. I am afraid to check emails. Um, yeah, it's amazing. Anyways, so that's the team. Super rad. I'm grateful for these awesome humans. Leah's here with me in Texas. Hannah's in Kentucky, and Kat is in Montana. Pretty cool places, I think. I need to go visit Montana and Kentucky. um, so yeah, our BirthFit programs, I would say, are the best out there, honestly. If you are looking for holistic programs that leave you with sustainable fitness and feeling more at home in your body. Yes, we're general strength and conditioning, so you'll see squats, you'll see lunges, but the beauty and like the magic is in the programming and the way we lay it out and the support and the community and all of that coming together. Mm. So I'm going to try to wrap this up. That's Birth It Now. We have online programs. We also have the BirthFit Education Foundations. And this is for anybody that is wanting to be a BirthFit leader and or then go on to become a BirthFit coach. You got to go through the BirthFit Education Foundations course. And this is an online course that is about 12 modules long. And you can complete this at your pace, though, like we ask you, I think, to complete it within a year, 6 months to a year. And that's just like keep you moving the needle. Uh, and you would once you complete the course, you submit an application to become a BirthFit leader. If you want to keep going, you could then attend one of our live seminars, and then you would complete your BirthFit coach certification. So that's how you become a BirthFit leader and coach. It's an awesome community, trailblazers, just really value driven and persons of integrity that are spaced out throughout the United States and the rest of the world. And I I don't think there's any better time to become a BirthFit leader than now, because the way we bring children into this world needs to change. The way we care for our mothers needs to change. And we've got to honor that process, the birth process, as well as the family. We've got to put a priority on family and connection and community, and it truly taking a village to raise the next generation. So yeah, online programs, leaders, coaches, That's the thing. We have once a month leader meetings, and they're pretty juicy. You'll learn something without a doubt. So that's awesome. Yeah. All right. So, what else we got? What else we got? If you ever have feedback for this podcast, please let me know. Though Kat will probably get the feedback and respond to it, I receive it, and I'm open to suggestions. I'm open to like interview suggestions, subject matters, like what you want me to talk about, look up, research, do some digging. I will topics, and I'll add it to the list of things, but there will definitely be a priority to some things. As far as who I am, I shared a little bit about how my journey and BIRTHFIT. Right now, I am living in Texas. I moved back to Texas in 2018, and I could not be more happier. English is not my thing, or I should say first language. Just kidding. But my first language is Texan. Um, so I moved back in 2018 after a big chapter in my life closed. And, I started living in Austin, and then I got called to the hill country. And amongst the craziness and madness of 2020, there was also love and expansion in my life. And honestly, one of the most profound, deepest learning lessons, journeys of my life was 2020. I met my now husband. His name is Lance. And that is why my name is Lindsay Matthews Cantu. Now we got married at the end of 2021. And we live out in the hill country with our dog. And I opened a chiropractic office, clinic, wellness center in New Braunfels, Texas, which is just a little bit away from where we live. And I have two wonderful partners there, Matt and Bria Much. And, I am feeling more and more like I'm putting down roots. I'm connecting with the earth, and excuse me, I'm just really, really settling in on who I am. I'm sorry, y'all. It is so dry here. Like, you can hear the wind going. It's cold. My face is cracking. Yeah. Anyways, but I absolutely love what I've manifested and what I've called into my life. And I know this chapter is not permanent, and I hope I've got some big goals for myself and Lance, and I just see us really just, what do you call like progressing, transitioning into those goals, and growing and living happily in love and ever after, and whatever you want to say with that. And same for the office with my partners there. I've dreamed of having my own space, and nothing, like no location I was at, city, ever truly felt right or worked out like it has in this situation. And if you're in the New Braunfels area or somewhere close, come to Willow House. We would love to see you. Love to connect. So that's where I'm at. I usually like to stay behind the scenes, other than you see my face and I'm like talking about certain subjects or interviewing people. But my life, my private personal life, is either like really focused in on me, or if I share something, it's usually after the fact. I don't really talk about my shit when I'm going through my shit. It's usually afterwards. Especially if, I think I'm just a woman probably with very similar issues and obstacles as many of you. So I think we could all find my shit relatable. um, so yeah, I'm I'm into things like raw milk, movement daily, hanging out with my husband, building things. So when I think about it, I'll share some of that. The goals for this podcast, because we're getting close on time. As I said earlier, the collective B. I really want this to be a place where communication and input channels kind of merge, and we share stories, we share cases, we talk about what has happened with each of us, or groups of people, or review studies, look at research, interview people, healers, doctors, healthcare workers, that have interacted with their whole community. I want this to be a place of merging and coming together and sharing stories. And, I think stories are very powerful. If you listen to anybody outside of Western medicine or mainstream media, like traditional cultures, they'll tell you how powerful stories are. And that's how we share wisdom and insight from one generation to the next. I think we're missing out, and that's where we could find some of the magic to help us with today's obstacles. So my goals, yes, to be a place of merging. I also want to keep it simple, short and sweet, and very raw. So, I'm just popped in here to record this on a Saturday, and it felt like the appropriate time to give you an update. And, I've been planning and getting the wheels going for the BirthFit podcast for a while now. But today just felt right. So, yeah, it's going to be raw. I want it to be like very little production. So what you see is what you get. We'll try to get it up on iTunes or the major whatevers, Google Play, YouTube. Like, there's videos that will come with this. So, yeah, if you're interested in having certain people on or being on our podcast, it'll be just like this. If you're interested in sponsoring our podcast, then definitely hit us up, info@birthfit.com. Kat will get back to you. If you would love, I would love it if you would be so kind to leave us a review at whatever listening platform you're on. That would greatly help me out, help the BirthFit community out. And please don't hesitate to go to birthfit.com, check out what our programs are. And, we would be honored, truly honored, if you would jump right in one of our programs, whether it be B Community, the prenatal training program, BirthFit Basics prenatal or postpartum, or the BirthFit postpartum training program. We also have a return to running program, or the BirthFit education. So I would love to connect with you over there, but open your heart, leave us a review, and I will greatly appreciate that. So welcome back. Welcome to the Collective B, and I look forward to hanging out with you all in the near future.